Your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit, is back in gear, and this time, we're tracking a major trade shift that's throwing America's logistics into overdrive. Since early April 2025, a dramatic 145% tariff on Chinese imports has turned the Port of Los Angeles into a near ghost town. From idle cranes to shrinking trucker paychecks, the fallout is no longer theoretical, it's measurable, and it's painful. Retailers are pulling the plug on shipments, inventories are tightening, and the ripple effects are rolling through supply chains like a stalled big rig. Buckle up. Here are the breakdowns that matter most. Shipping slide. LA port plunges 35% in volume. Gene Soroka, executive director of the Port of Los Angeles, sounded the alarm on CNBC. Cargo volume has plunged 35% compared to this time last year. With Chinese imports once making up nearly half of the port's flow, the sudden drop is directly tied to the Trump administration's 145% tariff on Chinese goods, announced in April 2025. This isn't a hiccup, it's a hard break. 17 blank sailings are already confirmed for May, removing an estimated 224,000 TEUs from the pipeline. Each canceled ship means lost revenue, idle cranes, and fewer hours for port workers. Union reps from ILWU Local 13 warn of upcoming layoffs. Truckers like Helen from Downey are already feeling the pinch, with shrinking loads and paychecks. Tools like Port Optimizer show container traffic is rapidly drying up. Shipping alliances are scrambling to adjust routes. Importers are rerouting cargo in real time. The slowdown at LA and Long Beach, two vital arteries of US-China trade, signals a deeper structural hit. This isn't just turbulence, it's a full-blown detour for America's logistics engine. But while cargo is dropping, the shelves aren't completely bare yet. So why is freight still arriving? Retailers pull the plug, consumers pay the price. Major US retailers saw this trade speed bump coming and stockpiled accordingly. But no matter how much you preload, you can't outpace a full-blown tariff war. Walmart and Target were among the first to freeze imports from China, and countless mid-sized businesses followed suit like dominoes falling down a warehouse aisle. Soroka offered candid insight. Industry leaders aren't just hesitating, they're hitting pause across the board. Hiring plans? Frozen. Infrastructure expansion? Scrapped. Capital spending? Shelved. The message is clear. No one's betting on stability right now. The consequences stretch beyond corporate boardrooms. Shoppers will soon feel it where it hurts, in their wallets. Shelves will get sparser, prices will edge upward. That one weird color option for your favorite sneakers or car accessory, it's not a design choice, it's a supply gap, and it's only going to widen. The trucking and warehousing world is also feeling the squeeze. Contracts are being axed, fleets are sitting idle, and costs, insurance, maintenance, fuel, don't pause when business does. The North American Punjabi Trucking Association summed it up best. Drivers are scrambling, and financial pressure is mounting. In this high-torque supply chain, every missing shipment is a misfiring cylinder, and America's economic engine is starting to stutter. Before we delve deeper, do us a favor. Smash that like button and subscribe to Piston Pundit to stay on top of trade shifts, auto news, and everything that moves. Now let's shift gears and ask, why are some cargo ships still docking despite the tariff heat? Still sailing. Why cargo keeps rolling in? Despite the 145% tariff shockwave, cargo hasn't stopped cold. Why? It comes down to timing, contracts, and strategy. Many shipments arriving now were loaded in early April, before the tariff took effect. Since duties are based on loading dates, not arrival, those containers slipped through at lower rates. For some importers, it's still cheaper to source from China, even with tariffs, than to rebuild supply chains elsewhere. Countries like Vietnam or Mexico can't match the scale or specialization needed for complex parts and mass-market goods. Others are using bonded warehouses to delay paying duties. These containers sit in limbo, waiting in hopes of a policy rollback. In rare cases, goods are even re-exported to China if it's more cost-effective than clearing them through customs. Some shipments are rerouted to ports in Canada or Mexico, then trucked into the US. But border officials are cracking down, enforcing tariffs based on product origin. Yet as freight continues to trickle in, the workforce that supports it is beginning to buckle under pressure. Job loss in the fast lane. Trade crash hits workers hard. The first visible casualty of the trade slowdown? Jobs. Gene Soroka estimates that for every 4 fewer containers processed, 1 short-haul trucking position disappears. In ports like Los Angeles and Long Beach, that spells thousands of lost incomes. Automation was once hailed as the freight industry's answer to efficiency, but even high-tech terminals like APM and TrayPack are quiet now. Without incoming cargo, even robots sit idle. Automation can't fix what no trade delivers. Trucking firms are taking direct hits. Ocean Rail Logistics reports up to a 70% drop in freight volume. That means fewer hauls, drivers left unpaid, and small operators struggling to cover fixed costs like fuel, maintenance, and insurance. Union leaders and trade groups, including ILWU Local 13, are raising red flags. Without clear policy direction or economic relief, the freight industry could shed workers in waves. And it doesn't end there. As workers are sidelined, industry insiders are now bracing for a new kind of chaos if tariffs are suddenly rolled back. Tariff truce or port pileup. A sudden peace deal between the US and China might sound like the answer, but it's a double-edged wrench. Even with a resolution, it could take 4 weeks to get ships repositioned and back into rhythm. In that time, demand could snap back all at once, causing a supply chain logjam. We've seen this movie before. Think 2021. Ships floating offshore, terminals overrun, and warehouses bursting at the seams. That scenario could repeat if importers flood the system trying to restock in a hurry. To complicate things further, global shipping alliances have already reshuffled routes. Returning to the old playbook isn't easy when vessels are now committed elsewhere. And with Washington weighing restrictions on Chinese-built vessels, some lines may simply steer clear of US ports altogether. A rollback in tariffs may calm retailers, but it could swamp the very infrastructure that supports them. And for importers stockpiling goods in bonded warehouses, the temptation to unload all at once could trigger delays, misrouting, and even another inflationary uptick. And that brings us to the final lap. Will America's ports power through or stall out? Final verdict. Can US ports stay on track? America's ports are grinding through a high-pressure test. With Chinese imports down 35%, dock workers benched, and store shelves looking bare, we're deep in the thick of economic fallout. Yet even now, containers still trickle in, lighter, pricier, and fewer. The system isn't broken, but it's straining at the bolts. Tariffs staying high could spark more inflation and job losses. But a sudden rollback? That could flood the ports with more cargo than they can handle. Either scenario demands smarter infrastructure and faster adaptation. Now it's your turn. Are you seeing price spikes or product shortages in your area? Should the US hold firm on tariffs or downshift toward diplomacy? Can our current freight system handle another supply chain whiplash? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your experiences from the road, warehouse, or checkout line. And don't forget to subscribe to Piston Pundit, your ultimate pit stop, for more updates on trade wars, shipping shifts, and everything that fuels the automotive world. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Ready for more? Tap one of the videos on screen to keep the ride going.